So this is a short video on how to draw on the polyester plate, and we begin with coating the perimeter with the gum arabic solution. And so, as we illustrated earlier, once you get the your photographic material is attached to the back, that'll function as your guide for where to put the gum arabic. It is water soluble, but it will dry pretty quickly. And you can also use a hair dryer to speed up the dry time. And what this does, it protects the plate from the grease material that you will be drawing with. This happens to be by Corns. These are lithographic crayons, and they come in different hardnesses. The softest is a number 1, and we have 1, 2, and 3 for you here. And so what we're going to do now is just play on this plate. We're going to make some marks. We're going to try some different things out. And then after we're finished, we're going to talk about how do we prepare it for printing. Okay, we have drawn on the polyester plate, and we are going to prepare this for printing. And the printing base we have on here is too delicate and wouldn't survive the printing process, so we're going to switch it out for another printing base. The printing base we're going to switch it out for is a combination of enamel paint and shellac. And in order to do that, we have to apply gum arabic to this plate and tightly buff it down. We're going to do that now. Now notice I've taped the plate down to a sheet of glass. I started taping it down with a paper-based painter's tape, and I then went over that with a piece of packaging tape, which is plastic. That'll help this survive a little bit longer. You really could just put the packaging tape directly on there if you wanted. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and get my towels over here that I've pre-folded. And the objective is to get it as tightly buffed on there as possible. And the other thing you're going to wonder is, well, what if I smudge it? Well, by the time you smudge it, the gum arabic will be already established, so your plate's going to be okay. See? So the plate's fine. It's weird. You think, gosh, I don't want to damage my drawing, but at this point it doesn't really matter, because as I said, the plate now has been sealed with the gum arabic. And you want to keep buffing until it slides and it's not sticky. And so you can probably see my hand is sliding. It gets up here, it sticks. But this is feeling pretty good. Sliding nicely. Okay, what we're going to do now is we're going to need to take it to a ventilation booth, and we are going to dissolve the drawing material out of the plate. I do like to give the gum arabic a little bit of a hair dryer just to warm it up and dry it up, I should say. You know, it doesn't need to be warm, it just needs to be dry, and let it cure a little bit. You can also let it air dry just a few minutes. So we got some smudge marks that ran across this way, but again, they're on top of the gum arabic, so that is not on the plate. Step is we are going to remove the grease material from the polyester plate, and we'll do that back in the ventilation booth area. So the mineral spirits can be used to dissolve this drawing off of here. You know, one of the advantages of doing it here is we're not putting any solvent down the sink. We're just using enough to get the material off of here, but the ventilation is right here. So these vapors are kind of contained in the bucket and they get pulled out, so you don't smell it. You can use our mineral spirits dispenser too. So this is the mineral spirits. I'm not scrubbing, we're just going very gentle. See, we're pulling some of that marker out, kind of leaving a ghost, like these marks in here. We experimented, didn't we? And I'm noticing those areas are kind of holding on to the plate. So we're going to move on to the denatured alcohol and begin to get the grease off of this thing. Remember, if we don't get the grease off, the oil, enamel, and shellac will not stick. It won't stick to the plate. So we're basically preparing the plate now for the new printing base. The last chemical I use to degrease with is acetone. Acetone is pretty aggressive. It will, it's used for removing nail polish, right? And it actually will melt plastic. That's why it takes nail polish off, because it's a... With that acetone treatment, it's going to be dry within a few seconds. So what I'm going to do now is prepare my towels for the new printing base. And the secret to this is very thin application. So when I pour it on, I'm going to have to move it fast because it's going to want to get sticky and thick on me. So I have to move like lightning, very fast. So earlier we prepared ourselves a nice little mixture of the printing base. I'm just going to pour some in the middle there. It doesn't take much, you know what I mean? Doesn't take much at all. And then, yes. The next step is to rehydrate that gum arabic, and it will lift off of the plate and leave the drawing behind. And so, we're going to transfer this guy over here. I'm going to use just some cold water. The enamel is not dry, but it's not coming off, right? So I'm not worried about that. You see what's happening over here? The water's already working its way under the enamel. So I kind of let it hydrate, but there's a good example of what we were able to do. All those marks you guys made are no longer that soft, waxy material. They're now enamel with a little bit of shellac in it. I'm letting this spray kind of work as a scrub. I don't want to touch the surface. Again, that paint is wet. So I'm not rushing it. I want that water to be able to get in there and soften up the gum arabic and let it lift off naturally. But you get a really clean, drawing with this technique. And I can look at those brush marks I made, and that's going to print solid. It's just going to be solid ink. But that's kind of some fun brush marks. That's it. You can see we've literally been able to swap out the material. So this will do a final rinse, let it dry completely before we begin to roll it up and print it. We can go ahead and